and just break it down, the details of how fucking terrible the plot is in this game. I mean, God, I can't believe this. Neil Druckmann is a fucking joke, dude. He's such a joke that he thought this was good. How could anyone take a look at this game, at its story, its characters, and be like, yeah, that's a product we can release to the masses. But that being said, enough foreplay. Let's just get straight into this. Alright, so first off with corrections. Abby isn't trans. She's not trans. That being said, her character design, like, Jesus Christ, the people who modeled her character need to fucking go back and take another anatomy class or some shit. Though I suspect this was highly intentional anyway. And before all of you fucking SJWs say something, have you ever seen a bodybuilder woman before? First of all, you haven't seen a bodybuilder woman. I'm gonna show you some fucking bodybuilders, Olympic athletes, Ronda Rousey, who I'm pretty sure Abby was based off of. None of them have Abby's body type. Because women do not have arms as large as their legs. Okay? Maybe she skipped, like, 1,000 leg days in those 4 years. 4 years is not enough for a woman to gain that much muscle mass in her arms. No, women do not look like this. So, again, you fucking idiot women who literally don't even know what you're talking about, and cucked men, or whoever the fuck is saying this shit. No, women don't look like this. Just look at these pictures, okay? That's what muscular women look like. Alright, but moving on. Okay, so she's not trans, she's just insanely jacked, and just disgusting. Utterly disgusting looking. Okay, so there's that. But there is a trans character in this game, and we'll get to that later, and that's, in some ways, actually worse. And just to go through a few of the game's priorities, the bisexual love triangle is introduced in the first 20 minutes. Though calling it a love triangle is kind of a stretch, because Jesse is basically just the cuck. He's like, oh, nah, man, Ellie, I'm okay with all that shit. Alright, I don't care about Dina, but, you and me are still cool. You can... He doesn't know, at that point, of course, that Dina is pregnant with his child, but that just really furthers, like, the cucking later on. And God, every man in this game, every major male character gets fucking destroyed. They get abused so hard, or just, like, pathetic in some way. And you'll quickly notice the amount of women who are in positions of power or are major characters in this. Like, if you're paying any amount of attention, because it's essentially almost all of them. The word bigot is used in the first 20 minutes, because of course there's a random old man. 25 years after the apocalypse, let me remind you, who gives a shit. Let's see, oh yeah, another thing about Abby. Look, there's flat women, okay, I get it. We don't have breasts. Abby's not flat, though. Her breasts are literally shaped like pecs. It is disgusting. She's utterly disgusting. I don't care what you say. You can call me, like, a vain, misogynist, like, shallow type of person. She is hard to look at. Her arms are so fucking distracting, man. Yeah, so, I don't know. There's, like, a lot of cringy, like, lovey-dovey dialogue type of stuff. This lesbian, like, this idealized lesbian love situation. You're gonna get a whole lot of that shit. It's cringy, man. I don't know. It could be worse, I guess. But it's, depending on how you tolerate that can make the game even worse. They find a fucking weed farm, man. Like, how much of this is literally just, like, liberal fantasizing? Like, they literally find a weed farm, smoke some weed, Ellie and Dina have sex then, or whatever, for the first time. And then, this, like a fucking sitcom, Jesse, the Asian dude getting cucked, he walks in. Get used to that. Get used to that in this game. Get used to that. Oh, but one thing I did find funny in that scene is that they struggled to open a jar. How very stereotypical. This game has a lot of unintentionally funny moments. It's fucking disrespectful. And here's the thing too. This is something you'll notice. So there's this guy named Manny. He's like Hispanic or whatever. And he is Neil Druckmann's self-insert. Without a doubt. Hispanic dude getting cucked. He's Neil Druckmann's self-insert character. Here's a side-by-side of what they look like. You can't tell me that's not Neil Druckmann wanting to put himself in the game. And he's the one who spits on Joel's corpse in the scene. It's like, Jesus, man. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, clearly... See, because Neil Druckmann was the director of the first game, and I guess maybe someone was keeping him on a leash back then. Because, you know, the first game is a lot more, you know, relatable and not as insane. Don't expect an explanation for that, because that really doesn't matter, of course. You know, the universe and the history doesn't matter at all. Just fucking pay attention to, like, the angry lesbian story in front of you. But anyway. Oh yeah, there's a part, this is just kind of like filler dialogue. Dina, apparently, the first time she killed a man was at 10 years old with a knife. What the fuck? That is not believable in any fucking way. For a woman, like, this is... Even a 10-year-old boy stabbing a person to death would still be unusual. You notice these little asides, like these little subtle, maybe not so subtle to some of you, not to me, like female empowerment type moments, where it's supposed to, you could argue, oh, it's just supposed to show how brutal the world is. No, absolutely not. They literally, it's a scene where, like, Dina almost tries to, like, cuck Ellie in a sense, where, like, it tries to out-alpha Stacy her, in a way. If you'll forgive my terminology there. Oh, yeah, so this is where Neil Druckmann fucking loses his goddamn mind. So, they find a synagogue in Seattle, right? And so, of course, Dina, the big schnoz herself, you know, the beak, if you will, she is Jewish, playing directly, like, straight to stereotypes. Yeah, give her a giant nose. She explains the culture of Judaism. Like, literally, the game literally takes you aside and is like, you know, would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior? You know, it's like, Yahweh. Oh my god. I can't fucking... Like, Neil Druckmann is Jewish, of course. I'm not going to make any statements that will get me in trouble with YouTube, but I just want to point this out, you know? I just want to point out this scene, and you can come to your own conclusions. So, moving on. Oh, man. So, we find out Dina's pregnant with Jesse's child. So this is really, like, the first big step of, like, cucking every man in this game, essentially, one way or another. Because Dina, of course, wants to be with Ellie, so Ellie will raise... I guess Ellie raising another man's child is kind of cucking her, too, isn't it? But either way, I'm sure Jesse would want to be a part of his son's life. So, fuck, man. So Jesse, of course, followed them there, because he needs to be in the story to die. Because every man in this game exists to die, or to be horribly maimed, or to just look like a bad guy in some way, as you'll notice. Oh yeah, I do have to ask you guys, how high on the progressive stack do you think bisexual Jew is? It's probably pretty high up there, don't you think? Yeah, probably. We're never gonna like her. She... Even, again, like, if you take away my shallow, like, male gaze, if you will, that I think she's fucking horrific looking, ugly, and unrealistic, and might as well be trans. We get to see their pristine gym, which is supposed to be the justification for how Abby's so swole. Abby has, like, such ridiculous He-Man strength in this, too, that just, like, it makes it seems so insecure. You know, even though game was directed by a man, so it's not really like, maybe he has a muscle girl fetish and an ugly girl fetish or something. I don't know, who knows the mind of Neil Druckmann, right? Still, like, there had to be some women in the writer's room who had, like, that kind of, like, you know, penis envy type of shit, where it's like, she has to prove how strong she is every other scene. It's I don't know, it's really cringy, dude. So here we go. Here's the trans character. So 2 of the Seraphites left their cult, and they're sisters, but not really, because as we find out, it's sister and brother. The brother is actually a woman, a female to male trans character, which I wouldn't have guessed. It's a lot more rare than the other way around. But yes, this is horrible. Here's why this is horrible. We find out she's 13 years old, and she decided at 13 years old, possibly even younger, that she's a boy. She was born in the wrong body or something. And it's like, really? And another thing too, like they really enforce like the anti-conservative shit, is they say, so her sister got to be a warrior, right? And Lev is such a trans name too, like really, are you fucking kidding me? So Lev also wanted to be a warrior, but it's tradition that she would be a wife to somebody. Well, why is the first daughter a warrior and the second daughter a wife? That doesn't make any sense. And every character makes sure to call Lev he. Every single character, never a moment of question. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Even though he has a girl's voice. Yeah, alright. Whatever. Oh yeah, oh my god. There's this point, right? So, every one of you knows about the infamous sex scene between Abby and Owen. And, oh my god, man. Oh my god. Dude, it's just disgusting. It is the worst. This is what you people, far leftist, regressive people, you people who wanted sex in video games, and I'm not talking about porn games, because it's obviously a different type of game. But you people, SJW, who actually wanted sex in video games, like in Mass Effect. I remember in the Mass Effect days, people were like, oh, that's not really a sex scene, I want a sex scene. Do you really want your action figures to get smacked together? I know I don't. Like, I'll just go to fucking Pornhub or something if I want to see that shit. This is disgusting. Insanely jacked. It is disgusting, and just disgusting. Oh my god, man. Women do not look like this. Oh my god. I still feel like I need eye bleach after it. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Utterly disgusting looking. This black guy. And he's like the only man in charge of an organization in this game. Like every other anything, group, whatever, is led by a female, except him, this black guy. And he dies, by the way, of course. And, of course he does. Ellie's like this little string bean, little fucking emaciated 120-pound woman who takes out, 180 to 200-pound men on the regular. That is not believable in any fucking way. But whatever. Basically, you find Abby, like, even uglier than ever. Utterly disgusting, if you can believe it. She's like she's kind of emaciated, but still with like swollen arms, despite starving and beaten and whatever. She's like tied to a pole. I still feel like I need eye bleach. Barely does Ellie win, like almost choking her to death under the water, but lets her live. Fucking what? You fucking SJW. Lets her live after all this? Okay, and she has 2 of her fingers bitten off. It's kind of cucking her too, isn't it? Abby and Lev just sail away. Ellie returns to the house on the prairie. Dina's gone with the baby. She tries to play guitar, can't really do it with her 2 chopped off fingers, bitten off fingers. Has one last flashback of her being a cunt to Joel. And then she stops playing guitar and leaves the house, and that's the end. That's the fucking end of the game. This is what happens. This is what happens when you let these far leftist, regressive, liberal people make this game. It's just fucking misery. Pointless misery. What's the lesson? That humans are horrible and they do bad things to each other no matter what? Ooh, wow. What a great message. What a fucking great message. I really learned something. We all know this. Naughty Dog will never recover from this.
And now, the Game of the Year award goes to The Last of Us Part 2.
They will not. I will never buy another one of their games. Period. And you shouldn't either. Like, maybe the only way they could redeem themselves in my eyes is if Neil Druckmann is fired. All these other people who were, like, cheering him on, encouraging him, are probably also fired. Sony gets their fucking shit together, stops being SJW. Fucking... Oh my god. of course, because there was no way I was gonna play this game. That was never gonna happen, you know. And well, I didn't buy this game. I can tell you that. I was never gonna waste $60 on this fucking SJW shit. Utterly disgusting looking.